By far and away, more than absolutely anything else, the number one thing that has cost my clients more homes than anything is going to be explained at the end of this video, so stay tuned. I hope you're excited because I'm excited, so let's just get to it. Hey guys, my name is Adam Clark. I'm here with Living in Spokane Washington with the PNW Dream Homes team, and today what I want to cover is the most common mistakes that my clients make when it comes to purchasing their homes, what they are exactly, and how to avoid them. Wasting none of your time and just jumping in, we're going to start off with mistake number one, not getting their pre-approval letter. I can't tell you how many times that I work with clients, usually about 50-50 of those that have their pre-approval letters already and those that still need to get them. Wink, wink. Know what I'm saying? And these letters are so important in today's markets that they're basically absolutely commonplace and expected. Many list agents in this area, that when I work with them, they'll ask for it right away if it doesn't come over in your initial offer. And in reality is, when I'm in their position, I do the exact same thing. This is because I want to make sure I'm doing right by my clients as they are trying to do right by theirs. They're going to want to see that pre-approval letter, know that these buyers are ready to go so far as do some investigation by calling that lender up and asking them directly for themselves. Just everyone here doing their due diligence. In fact, pre-approval letters are so important that you can kind of just say when you make an offer, it's more like a hope and a wish, in other words, a glorified promise, than a real legitimate offer. Showing your financial security is so important to this process. Oftentimes today in the Spokane marketplace, we're having multiple offer situations still where more than one buyer goes and places an offer on the same home at the same time. Those list agents often sift through those offers pretty quickly, looking them over, and those without pre-approval letters in a multiple offer situation oftentimes just get thrown out, meaning your offers will be less competitive and or not competitive at all. So what to do? Get your pre-approval letters. Call up your lender, call up your realtor and have them recommend good lenders. Either which way, give them a call, get your finances information and all that in one place ready to go, so when they ask for certain documents and forms, you know the drill. You can hand them over right quick and then they will go and let you know not only if you are or not pre-approved, but how much you are pre-approved for, what your monthly payment and interest rate, and all this really important information that's literally going to affect your life. So yeah, like, get your pre-approvals. Mistake number two, skipping your home inspections. Now look, I know I just said that we're in a very competitive marketplace in Spokane to this day, and you're really excited about your homes and you want to place your offers and you want to discuss possibly waiving your inspection contingency. Now let me be clear, I have recommended this to clients in the past in certain scenarios, but all situations differ, and by and large, broad strokes, you shouldn't waive your inspection contingency unless absolutely necessary. Look, I got stories for days and days and days of clients waiving their inspection contingency over the last 4 years. This has become fairly common in this competitive market, and time again, they find latent issues that the seller probably maybe was hiding. They get discovered by the new owners and realize that they're in a lot more trouble than they even realized. Usually the number one enemy here is water. Water is just one of those things that absolutely ruins everything. And on top of that, it's easily hidden behind walls or under floors and even pipes in the ground, all of which can be problematic. Now, to be fair, an inspection wouldn't necessarily cover and find every single one of these latent issues, but by and large, my inspectors tend to find the vast majority of issues that need to be addressed. But water isn't the only enemy. You can have things like electrical issues, fire hazards, mold, rot, a leaky roof that you don't find about until winter comes, concerning settlement cracks on the foundation, faulty hot water tanks, furnaces that appear working but are actually spitting out carbon monoxide, excessive radon sitting in your basement, a plugged sewer line full of crap that you literally can't flush down, and so on and so forth, etc., etc. The list goes on, and yes, I've personally experienced every single one of those scenarios with various clients over the years. Let me tell you, it's one of those things where getting an inspection is just one of those things that is all but necessary. Okay, how to avoid that? Well, look, one of the things that you're probably even considering this is because you're in a competitive market, right? Otherwise, it just makes no sense to do one unless you literally can't afford one. Which, side note, if you can't afford a measly $300 to $400-ish for an inspection, you're probably going to have trouble purchasing that home anyways. But the main thing that we need to focus on is when you're in a competitive market, strategy matters greatly. So what I would do if I was you is I would get with your agents one-on-one and ask them frankly, what are our strategic options when placing this offer? Boy, that was a tongue twister. All jokes aside, this is an important conversation to have. The right agent will present you with several options, their pros and cons, so that you can make a well-informed decision. Mistake number 3, overlooking hidden costs. So real talk, buying a house costs money, generally speaking. And yeah, you're going to need some. I know we're excited, we're buying a home, we're getting all pumped about the process. But a mistake I see so often, and it breaks my heart, is my clients not looking at the big picture of what everything costs and telling the entire buying process itself. And I'm not talking just about your closing costs that you need to come up with at the closing table. Without those, you don't even get a house in the first place. No, what I'm talking about is small maintenance and repair items. These are things that probably came up on your inspection report that you didn't bother to ask the sellers to deal with themselves. But now's the absolute best opportunity you're going to have to address those issues before your stuff gets moved in. All of which the trips to the hardware store and the materials that you need to make the repairs themselves, and or getting a handyman to do it for you, those costs can add up quick. That on top of, and this is the worst one, moving expenses. You have to think and prep ahead of time on how you're going to move your stuff from point A to point B. Now, luckily there's several options, doing it yourself on the cheap side, and or obviously an a la carte model that they do it all for you, which I recommend beyond belief. That on top of oftentimes what I find is my clients are stepping up into their new home, meaning more space and possibly more tools just to maintain and fill the property. This could look like extra furniture items, extra gardening tools, food to fill the pantry, pool cleaning kits, barbecues, various subscriptions that need to be transferred over, HOA costs, homeowners association costs, sometimes even rental equipment, all of which needs to be accounted for ahead of time to make sure you're not really put in a spot. So look, how to avoid this. This tip, along with the last one about home inspections, you're going to want to look out for the big 4. As a rule of thumb, the vast majority of your repairs that you're going to need to do to your home, either immediately or in the recent future, are going to be $500 or less. Having one or more of these items come up within the first 2 years is fairly common and should be expected. But the big 4, which are your HVAC system, your hot water tank, your roof, and your foundation. These items, they're called the big 4 because they tend to be $500 or more to repair and or replace. So when you're going to purchase your home, my biggest tip that I could possibly give you is pay attention to the big 4. They're the things that are going to cost you the most, both emotional energy and that money. So whatever you do, focus on these things, and I promise you're going to have more of each. That on top of my next big tip, really think and consider about how you're going to use the property itself. What I mean by that is a family of 5 is going to have a wildly different use and stress on the house than, let's say, an elderly couple, one of which could have sold to the other. Oftentimes that new family moving up into their step-up home finds that unfortunately they tend to be the ones that run into these situations, and this is where problems tend to show themselves. So really think about who your sellers are, what your family needs might be, and try to do some critical thinking here about how you're going to use and stress the property, which can hopefully help you avoid some of these mistakes. See what I did there? Mistake number 4, not researching the neighborhood. And let's just throw in there the location generally in and of itself. If you got a family with small children, you definitely want to consider the school district that you're in. If you're someone that works downtown, you may need to check the commutes and the traffic flows. If you want to be within 5 minutes of Costco, well, you better check on that. But it's not just commutes and distance of things that are going to matter here. For example, I one time had this client buy a home that was across some train tracks. They worked from home and didn't leave their house very often, so we didn't think it'd be a major issue. And not only that, we went there several times and never even heard him, so we figured it wasn't that big of a deal. Lo and behold, comes to find out the client did go earlier in the day just to drive by and check it out, and was of course stuck behind a 15-minute train. Oh, and it gets worse. They were able to take a bridge and make their way around, get inside and start walking through the home itself. And during this walkthrough period, they were actually able to hear the train on the train tracks. And I mean, it was loud. Now, for someone that works at home and is often on Zoom calls all day, this is something that was a concern. Ultimately, we were glad we're there and caught it at that moment because honestly, that home just wasn't right for my clients. So the lesson here is really take into consideration where you're located, what's around you. Yes, the distances to each. Maybe factor in schedules and times of day, bus routes, shopping and grocery stores, and anything else that's just going to make your life more convenient. And one of the common things people say about Spokane is that it takes roughly 15 minutes to get everywhere. And I have to be honest with you, it's kind of true. Just about anywhere you go from wherever you are within the city bounds itself, for whatever reason, I can more or less bet it's going to take you about 15 minutes to get there. So there you go. You can use that as your measuring stick if something may or may not be close or far enough. Talking about them in-laws. So it meets your needs adequately. All right, number 5. Now this is what I was hinting at in the beginning. By far and away, the number one mistake that my clients make when purchasing a home is they don't listen to their agent's advice. Look, this is simple, guys. This is one of those things where experience absolutely matters. I have many clients that come to me talking about how many homes they bought and sold over the past, and I get it. You kind of know what you're doing, which is great and all, but this is a game of understanding the market right now. And I can assure you that no matter how many homes you bought and sold in your past, I have more than likely helped more clients buy and sell property in the last month than you ever have. That on top of my years of experience in the industry, the thing that I pride myself on above all others is my advice. It's literally my value proposition, the skill that I bring to the table, where I make an actual difference for somebody. Look, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but seriously, it's important that you listen to your agent because they're the ones that are going to guide you through this process and ultimately make sure that you get to the other side. Let's not forget we all have the same goal here, which is to help you buy your dream home. I care about you guys and I want the best for you. And sometimes that means letting go a little bit of that control and placing it in the hands of a professional. This is one of those things that I'm passionate about. This is because I feel that agents that don't give adequate advice, don't apply their skill and strategy, don't negotiate on their client's behalf, are what I like to call paper pushers. Paper pushers are agents that they got the same license, but ultimately, I feel they don't have your best interests at heart. These agents tend to feel that their job isn't to sway their clients one way or the other, and ergo, they just literally pass documents from one agent to the other, collecting signatures, and actually expect to be paid for it. And I mean, anybody can do that. No, our unique value proposition here is that we help you either make tens of thousands, save tens of thousands, or come up with a strategy that gets your offer accepted at all. These skills are important and really makes the difference between somebody just trying not to get sued, frankly, and someone who really believes in you, is an advocate for you, and really fights for the best they can get for you. So my advice here is don't settle for anything less. Insist that your agent is one that wants to talk to you about strategy, negotiate, and just give you good tips and guidance along the way. Anything less than that, I just feel a disservice to you. All right, guys, that's what I have for you today. If you liked what you saw, if you can go ahead and just please subscribe below. It really does help a growing channel out. We appreciate it so much. And just to recap here real quick, I don't want to take too much of your time. Real fast, number 1, make sure you get your pre-approval. Number 2, try at all costs to avoid skipping the home inspection. Number 3, don't overlook those hidden costs. Make sure you're taking in the big picture. Number 4, please research the neighborhood and the amenities around yourself and its location in context to location to other important things in your life. And by golly, number 5, please, please, please listen to your agent's advice. The good ones really want the best for you, and the great ones fight like freaking tooth and nail to do it for you. Again, my name is Adam Clark. We are living in Spokane with the P&W Dream Homes team. Until next time, see you later.